Oh my goodness, it took a bit to get this to work. Oh, wow, because for whatever reason, Facebook has changed its settings. So here we go. Live in the group. Dun, dun, dun. So yeah, oh my goodness, it took a minute. So bear with me. Thank you. Hey, Allison, how are you? Yeah, this took a hot minute to get together because apparently now you have to add the Zoom app inside of your Facebook group in order for you to be able to live stream that way. So, anyway, let me see. And I'm getting, let's see, I have a message coming through from Jamy. Because it took a minute, let me tell y'all. But I'm excited to have this conversation. I think it's going to be a really good conversation. Hey, Emily, how are you? Oh my goodness. So I'm waiting, which is fine. But so I'll start. You can't stay. Well, Allison, I will get back to you on a time for us to get together this Friday. I'm thinking maybe like 3 p.m. if 3 p.m. works for you. So let me know if like that time would work for you. So one of the first things I would like to talk about as we get into alignment and how good it feels, let's have a conversation about how good it doesn't feel when you're out of alignment and you know you're out of alignment. So here's the thing. I know that I am in a position that I am doing something that is no longer aligned. I don't enjoy it. It is sapping my energy. It is sucking my soul. And I'm struggling because I feel accountable and responsible. Right? I feel accountable and responsible. So for those of you who know what I do, I work at a school, and the role I took was a resource person, right? So what that means as a resource person is that I am there as kids are having problems in the classroom, or as they've missed school, or as they need to make things up. They would come to my room, I would sit down, give them one-on-one time, give them a quiet space, help them work through their stuff. If kids were on in-school suspension, they would spend that time with me in my office. It was that kind of thing, right? And so it's fine. Well, also, part of the role was to be substitute teaching when there were unplanned or unscheduled things to be off, right? So I also occasionally subbed. So this particular school has had an issue with keeping staff. We had a teacher quit before the school year started, and they were never able to fill that role for a math teacher. Now we've had our science teacher quit. They've had Nobody available for that role. Hello, my Megan. I am telling my out of alignment story while I buy a little bit of time for Jamy to get here so we can talk about the deliciousness of when you're in alignment, but I'm sharing the yucky part of not being in alignment and knowing I'm not in alignment and actually choosing this shit, and I'm asking myself why, right? So 2 teachers are gone. They cannot get anyone to replace these 2 teachers. We also have one of our people who was an at-risk student mentor has quit, and that person has not been replaced. So all of these people exiting, no new people coming in. And I was assigned to cover the exiting science teacher until the replacement was found. And lo and behold, they're not going to find a replacement because nobody wants this damn job. To the point at which they had asked me at some point, their roundabout way of asking, if I actually wanted to be certified to be a teacher, and there's a way to do that, and it'd be official, and then I'd have to go back to school and get the certifications and whatnot. And I was like, no, because right now, when I want a day off from school, I just say, hey, here are the days I'm not going to be there, and I don't show up, because that's what my contract says I can do. Let's add to this. So they've put me in the position of being in a classroom, teaching, lesson planning, managing the entire classroom. And I'm Mo. We'll talk about that on the side, for real. So they've got me doing all of this stuff that I am fundamentally not qualified to do, not incapable. So let's be clear, not incapable, but not a certified teacher. I have, and they're really good here with some passive aggressive BS. So I have asked for assistance. I've asked for lesson planning help. I've done all of those things without getting any of what I've requested at all. So Maureen, I think it's the largest school district in the state. How about that? How about that? Without naming the school. So I'm working my way through all of my feelings about this, about not feeling appreciated, about not feeling valued, about doing work that is not what they hired me for or what they're paying me for. And so I had this other conversation, so we'll talk about the pay piece a bit separately. But I'm really at this place where I don't fucking want to be there, and it's getting harder and harder to show up every day. So it's already getting harder and harder to show up every day. I already know it's not in alignment. Then, if you saw my post, last week was the student who brought their pet rat to school. No bueno. This week it has been, I had a student who was emotionally distraught, crying in class, took that student to the hallway to try and help them be better, be okay, do whatever it was I felt like I could do. While I'm literally outside of my classroom door, addressing the needs of this individual student, another student decided to pull the pin on the fire extinguisher. I do have a door that goes outside from my classroom. Open the door and they're spraying the fire extinguisher. Like, and this is high school aged students, okay? So that was yesterday. That student was supposed to have been spoken to today, didn't get spoken to today, shows up in the last hour today, and actually have the student twice in a day. I have them first hour and last hour for 2 different classes, but then takes a bottle of cleaner. And so welcome to the days of the Rona. And we have this cleaner that we have to use between every class. I have to go over all of these desks. So I've got a really good system. 5 minutes before class is out, I've shut down. I have the kids come up, they spray, they clean off all their own desks, whatever. Literally, while I'm focused over here on 3 students over here, there's 3 students over here on my left, while there's 3 students to my right I'm paying attention to. And the student who pulled the fire extinguisher today takes a bottle of the cleaner, dumps it all over, and these are It's a science class, so they're lab style tables of 2 per table. It's flowing on the floor, it's going everywhere. The kids that are over there having fun and they're popping the bubbles and playing like, this is not what I signed up for. This is not at all what I signed up for. And I know it's not what I signed up for. I know it's not aligned. I know, so I'm talking myself. So again, so when Jamie and I get into the conversation about what it feels like when you're in alignment, what it feels like when I'm not in alignment is I am always tired. I'm always ready to get in the bed and to take a nap. I am working really hard to not snap at kids during the day. And fundamentally, I like most of these kids. I've worked there this is my second school year contracted there. It's not like it's new. It's very different now. It's much more difficult to build the relationships with the kids now because you can't even see faces. I mean, there's just something about the way we interact that's fundamentally different. But let me be clear. It is becoming increasingly more difficult for me to ignore the fact that I know this is not aligned for me. And so, what's the balance? I'm like, well, in 14 days, I'm going on another trip and I'm going to go to Texas for about 5 days and have a really good time and see some amazing people and do some fun stuff, right? And then, so that's in 14 days. And then when I come back, there's only 10 days of class left. And I really feel like the students don't deserve someone else quitting on them. But I also feel like that is not my problem and I don't own it. Right? I had a student yesterday or day before get smart with me in class, right? And so some comment that he made about you're not even a real science teacher. I was like, but you're gonna get a real F in here because you haven't handed in any work. I mean, for real. It's just, yeah. And so there's this crazy churning that's happening. Like when you know something is in alignment or when you know something is out of alignment, we all need to really be paying attention to that. And I feel like I need to be honest about the place where I know that I'm not in alignment. I know I'm not. And I know that I'm picking it. And I know there's like this time limit to it, right? Maureen, I don't even know if I would want to see the stuff you've been getting from email from these kids. I can't imagine. I cannot imagine like what that looks like from the outside. And yes, Megan, yay for Texas. Yay for Texas. So, oh, and actually, Marisol isn't here and Cora isn't here and Patricia isn't here, but I'm meeting up with them when I go to Texas. We are going to have some fun. We're meeting up. I found this phenomenal hotel. I should look it up and show you guys. It's really cute. It's like, it's an industrial building that's been converted and Cora told me about it and it's super cute. So there's that. Yeah. So I'm excited. Oh, bueno, Marisol is here. Hey, boo. So yeah, I'm meeting with Marisol. It's gonna be fabulous. Oh, Jamie, you're fine. You're fine because I can talk until you get here, girl. Don't even worry about it. So yeah, I was just talking so you know because you're here about like the hotel is so interesting and cute. And then Marisol picked some phenomenal looking place for us to go and have some bevies and eat something. And I'm excited. Like there are things I'm excited about. There are things that are and an insight and date that are making this tolerable, but I know that I am not in alignment. I need to cut this out. I need to let it go. And I've got some stuff kind of going on that isn't going where I need it to go in the time I need it to go, but I know it's my own fault because I'm doing this shit that's not aligned. Right? So, okay, so this is interesting, you guys. So Maureen is on here. There we go. So Maureen is here, and I don't know if you want to share anything else about that, but Maureen and I have advocated for her when I owned my agency. I was a drop-off point for her. She is local to me here in Michigan, and she does some phenomenal work for charities. And one of her things that she put about is PCP, the Prom Closet Project. And she collects and has gowns available for underserved populations who may not be able to afford, like, to go to prom because they couldn't afford a gown, and, you know, gowns and shoes and accessories. And there was even a partnership with a tuxedo place. And so there's all of this stuff that's kind of gone on, right, for her charity. And so she's apparently, and I don't know, I think, is it the natural evolution of how things are going with school right now? Is it how things are going with school right now in general in this climate? Or is it, you know, kids who are difficult to work with? And speaking of kids who are difficult to work with, I mean, let me be clear. It's, yeah, the way they're acting. Yeah. That does not surprise me, I guess, you know, based on what I see. And so, to specify, I'm at an alternative high school. I'm not at one of the traditional high schools. So it is, you know, it's that kind of thing, right? It's, these kids are just very, very different out here, and they're making it far more difficult. So I'm sorry to hear that, Maureen, because I think your program was phenomenal, right? It really is. I mean, you know, I've supported, I've cheerleaded, I've cheerled. I don't know, is leaded or led? I don't know. Anyway, I've been cheering you on, and, you know, I've gotten friends to help donate to what you do. So, I mean, it's just, it's amazing that the work that you do, and it's just unfortunate. But I think it's all part and parcel to the shift in the way people are socializing because of the way we're treating the kids at school, right? So they have to stay 6 feet apart from each other. They, you know, they eat lunch almost in seclusion. They've got these, you know, plexiglass things on the table, and kids are sitting diagonal, and they're making sure the kids are all far. I think what we're seeing in behavior is just the symptom of a much bigger issue that isn't being addressed, and is probably not going to be addressed for a while. But yeah, the way they're acting is not helping with me being out of alignment, because they're gonna have me acting my way right out the damn door. And I'm just there. And I feel bad, because these kids don't deserve people who quit on them, but I deserve my peace of mind. I deserve to honor my strategy and authority, and I deserve to be able to feel comfortable doing what I do every day. Right? So my friend Jamy is here. Yay. You're muted, so you can unmute. I don't think I can unmute people. I can only mute them. I can't unmute them.
Hi, I'm here.
How are you? It's fine. It was super casual. It really is. It's super casual. And so I started talking about, like, right now, where I know I'm out of alignment. I figured that would lead us very nicely into what that deliciousness feels like when you really are in alignment. And I think that's the hard part, is being out of alignment, knowing I'm out of alignment, picking it based on the circumstances, like trying to do the right thing. But also, and they laugh at me now, because my favorite thing to say, y'all gonna have to forgive me, be like, fuck them kids. Like, like,
I feel that one.
but again, this isn't, I don't care. It's an, oh my God, how much should I put myself through? How much should I ignore what I know is correct for me for the benefit of anyone else? And I mean, we're gonna say I shouldn't ever. I get that.
Right.
But do I really want to be like the 4th or 5th person to quit this year? Like, it's all of the mind talk that it's really kind of a weird place to be. Yeah. And so, yeah. And so then I don't know if you heard the part, like there was the fire extinguisher and the cleaner all over the table. Like, just crazy behaviors.
Right.
And I'm sitting back going, and why do I come here every day?
Yeah.
And not to be mean, right? But
Yeah.
so you and I had, so everybody, this is, for those of you who don't know Jamy, this is Jamy and I love her.
And I love you.
And we were having a really good conversation, and we're gonna segue into that now. Like, when you're in alignment, how good does that feel? How good does it look? How does that show up for you? And when I talk about alignment specifically here, we're really talking about kind of being in your strategy and authority. So I'll tell mine, you tell yours. I'm a 6'2" emotional manifesting generator. So sacral response, but needing to honor my emotional wave.
I'm a 6'2" pure generator.
So both of us sacral,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
And it was actually a really good conversation about a lot of the delicious things that we've got going on and how they're happening because we're really honoring the sacral response. We're really paying attention to when our body's telling us yes and when our body's telling us no. So again, I started this talking about where I know I'm out of alignment, like where I know, and I know it's tripping up some other things. And I'm kind of looking at it going, okay, but am I incorrect? Yes. There's an end date though. And I'm literally just trying to make it to the end date. It's like 14 days until my next vacation to Texas. I'll be real good once I get there. Do my vacation in Texas, come back, and there's literally 10 days of school left. And like, I'm telling myself, you can do this. Like, you've got it. You can do it. It may not be correct, but you can finish this and close it out in a way that makes me feel like I'm not a quitter. I think my defined heart is getting.
Is it that defined will?
I think it's getting in the way.
I know that feeling. We can push through. We can make it work. Yeah. And it is what it is, it's like you've got a lot of I don't know, centers, and a lot of energy running. And it's like, yeah, how do you pull that into the most aligned for any given moment? Because,
right.
It's life too. And we're interacting with other people.
Right. And it's not as if this has been terrible.
Right.
It really wasn't terrible until the last month.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't in love with it, but it was okay.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just gotten progressively worse. And I think the other part, let's talk about that defined will center. So we have that defined will center in common as well. And one of the hallmarks you'll see with people, we're competitive, but more than being competitive, we are driven to be good at what we do. I think that's what I'll say. Like, you're not going to do something if you don't feel like you're good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I felt like, and I still do to some degree, felt like I was set up for failure. Like, I was not given any of the things that I needed in order to do a good job in this role. Nobody's come in to check to see what I'm teaching these kids. No one's asked me, they don't know what I'm doing now they've asked me some other stupid questions that have pissed me off.
Yeah.
But they haven't asked me, what are you teaching? How are you teaching? Are you following the curriculum and the standards? Like, nobody's asking me anything relevant.
Right.
To the future of the kids.
Yeah.
They'll ask me some dumb shit though. So it's crazy. Yeah. And so again, knowing and wanting to tap back into, so I know, and so we'll get into this, the energy surge that I'll get when I'm in Texas on multiple levels for multiple reasons, right, is going to put me back into my alignment.
Yep.
And my prayer is that shit will carry me through. If I make it until I go on vacation, if I don't quit before I go, then I'll be able to make it through, right?
Right.
But following, and we've both had some different kind of relationship twists and turns, and following that sacral response. And so when I talk about relationship twists and turns, for me, it was realizing I was in a relationship that really was not in alignment for me, and it hadn't been for a while. And so I posted a little bit about that because I talked a bit about, being in the place where You start to do this work, and the work is expansive for you. And then it puts you in a place where it makes it easier to deal with other people, because you're suddenly more open to understanding how good it is and how okay it is for everyone to be different. But then as you continue to expand and grow into the next iteration of yourself, I, then what was tolerable is tolerable, but you don't want to tolerate it anymore.
Right.
And so I found myself at the beginning of the year ending a 15-year relationship.
Yep.
And honestly, not looking back at it going, at all. Like, not at all.
Just new.
Now, I have feelings. Let's not say I don't have feelings. Of course I do. And I know that my partner felt blindsided. And then on further conversation, it was, well, maybe I wasn't as blindsided as I initially felt, right? But like, when you're the person who's come to the conclusion that this is it, I'm ending this, I'm moving on, and it's a solid, and you know you're correct, that's empowering in its own way, right? Because then you're the person who's in control of kind of your emotional flow. The other part is then, being in that place and then being open to, not even looking for, but being open to allowing yourself to respond to whatever life brings you, and then it bringing me more delicious things to respond to, right? Especially when you're not looking. It's always when you're not looking.
Of course it is. Yeah. I was thinking too, as you were saying that, as a generator, we tend to, because we follow what feels good, we can change directions a lot. And I'm almost wondering, even with the school thing, it's like you made some big changes in your field. So it's like, it's not necessarily even that the school thing changed. It's just that your energy field is no longer aligned with it. It's like,
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
The way it works,
Yeah.
It's like you upgraded, you changed. And so now life is like, wait a second, this isn't where I fit anymore. It's like time to.
No, thank you. Thank you for framing it that way.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Of course. And so much yummy.
Yes, there is a lot of yummy in my life these days. There really is. There is. And so I'm so excited. And, speaking just briefly of the yummy part, June 5th, I'm going to be doing a masterclass. It's going to be a free masterclass, but it's going to be like attraction and sexuality and, that kind of thing based on human design with Leah Newman, who is licensed to do the erotic blueprint. And I'm excited because that kind of just grew out of this really delicious conversation as I'm leaning into, who am I post Chiron? Who am I empty nester? Who am I out here allowing myself to respond to deliciousness? Right. And then tuning in. And I had this really crazy conversation because I think sometimes people don't think about how old other people are. So when I went to high school, we didn't get bananas and condoms. We didn't, none of that existed. It was very, very different in sex ed and what's acceptable and what's normal. And what I've learned just from being out here in my experiment, living it, what I've studied in human design, what I'm feeling and learning and uncovering in me now is something completely different than what I've ever experienced. And so I reached out to her, let's talk about this erotic blueprint thing that you do, because I'm feeling like maybe I need to, dig into what's going to be delicious for me physically and in my body and all of that stuff, right? And as we had that conversation, I was taking literally some recent experiences and going, wait, let me look at this chart. Wait, let's talk about this. Let's talk about where I see this in a human design chart, right? Let's talk about where I see the energy for someone to be a dominant in design. Let's talk about where, so it turned into this really kind of delicious fun thing. But you and I catching up, just talking about the flow and where you find yourself, right?
Yep.
So, because you got some delicious stuff flowing right now.
I know. So I mean, like you, I kind of confronted some relationship things early this year as well. Um, and I had a slightly different outcome. So my husband and I have been married for 18 years and very similar. It's like I got to this place where I'm like, this isn't working for me. Like this doesn't feel, I don't feel like I fit in this space anymore. And we started separation. He moved out, and it was in moving out and actually me like fully owning what I desire and being in alignment with that, that allowed space for him to recognize that he actually would like to meet me in that. And I think because I was resisting, like I was out of alignment and I was resisting my own alignment, I wasn't I wasn't offering clarity and anything for him to respond to, or to, like
Right.
decide what it was, because I was like not sure. And so it was like when I got really clear on what I desired and what I know I'm worthy of, um, that allowed for him to decide if that's what he wanted to be a part of. And he actually did. So he actually kind of had some pretty massive aha moments and like come to Jesus moments for
But the
himself.
beauty of that, the beauty in that really is that that was the natural outcome. There
Mm-hmm.
wasn't if you love me, you'll do this. If you like, so as an example, when I presented him with, I'm leaving, I'm done, I'm going to be moving out.
Yeah,
And it was, well, can we go to therapy? And I was like,
yeah,
hold on. We've been together 15 years and I already know that you think therapists are quacks,
right, yeah,
that you wouldn't trust one as far as you could throw one. Like you have zero value for it. Why are you offering that? Why are you offering something I know you are 100% not aligned with?
right, yeah,
Because it was pacify me
yeah,
to keep what felt good for him. And
yeah,
again, this is not a place of like judgment. We still have occasional decent conversations and that kind of thing, but it was that place where you got to experience what happens when someone decides to step into themselves.
yes,
You were dealing with you, he was dealing with him, and bring that back together, which I think is an absolutely beautiful thing. Or be in a situation with me where I'm literally told the worst thing about human design is that it's so inclusive and it lets everybody in and everybody has a role and everybody has a place, like because that's the mindset, right?
yeah,
And oh, let's do therapy when I already know you don't value. Why would you even offer me something I know you don't value?
right. That's like an appeasement,
Yeah,
grasping
and
at
so
straws.
yeah, and that's essentially what it was, and it just wasn't correct for me anymore, and I had to decide. And so in doing that, have had a lot of expansion, a lot of opportunities to start experiencing new things, um, feeling really good. Started working with, got back to my chiropractor.
Oh, nice.
Um, there's also a certified nutritionist in the office, like working on me, on my well-being, on what's going to help me thrive and have a hot girl summer, or whatever, right?
Yeah, yeah, totally. And that's the same thing that I did. And actually he did, it's like you're pointing out the difference of like, let's work on ourselves individually and see if there's space between us versus um yeah, trying to like desperately force something to work that isn't working.
Right,
It's like
right.
being mature enough to say if this isn't aligned for either of us, then let's not make it work. And if it is, then awesome. Let's lean into that. So
Yeah, and I think that's part of the good stuff. And then look
right.
at what's starting to happen. I mean, I see you out there, I see what you're doing, I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
um
On
you,
top of the business stuff, we talked about this a little. I shared it a little bit. Oh yeah, I sent you the link to the house. So
yes.
that's the next thing that happened in that alignment, is that my husband and I deciding that we are invested in meeting each other in supporting each other and becoming our best selves. You know, it's like we got out of the struggle, you know, of like projecting our own shit on each other. And it was like, I'm going to take responsibility for me. He's going to take responsibility for him. And we're going to support each other and honor what that looks like for us as individuals. And it's like, as soon as we came into that, our dream house, like the most beautiful house that's like
Girl,
ideal for us on
I
all
cannot,
levels.
first of all, so Allison was already teasing me today about whatever dinner she was having. I was like, first of all, I'm coming back to Iowa, okay?
Yes.
I cannot wait to see that kitchen in person.
I know. And we'll have plenty of space for you to come.
Well, and like I said, I'll say it here. I am a whore for a kitchen. Like, give me a good kitchen.
I know. It was part of the selling point for me as well.
Just gorgeous, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's, I mean, like, it's literally, it has like, if we had a checklist for a house, it met everything. And this was such a practice in listening to my sacral authority and how quickly I can feel the yes. And then my mind tries to kick in and tries to make logic of it and tries to figure it out. And so it's like, it was a yes. Like, I love this house. The kids love the house. Kyle loved the house. And then it was like, oh, but, you know, like, we started doing all the logistics and I leaned back. And then everybody in the family kind of was like, okay, you know, like, maybe not. And the house literally like begged us to buy it on 3 different occasions. It came back to us. And I finally was like, the universe is like, hello, I'm giving you something to respond to. You know, and it was like, it finally clicked and I was able to stay with my sacral yes, like the yes over and over again, and not just automatically go up into my head to try and figure it out. And it is a trust process. Like, I don't know what happens next, but I
Right.
know that my body is leading me to expansion. And I can feel it energetically. Like, even this house that we've been living in is out of alignment for me. Like, I've felt the last year since I've been living here have almost been in hiding. Like, I've been small or like contracted. And it was almost like as soon as we made the offer on that house, it's like everything expanded in my energy field.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's crazy how that alignment just ripples out into everything. And it's a little scary, you know, it's like, logically, I don't know what happens next, but
Right.
I know my body's leading me to exactly where I need to be.
It's so, and I've had this call, like, and you know, I first of all, I never stopped traveling.
Right.
I don't know what everybody else was doing, but sis was hopping on some airplanes and hopping in a car and going.
Yeah.
But I've literally had it in me to, for some reason, I want to visit Charleston. And I don't know what it is about Charleston, but it's like, it's calling me. And I'm like, I need to go and I need to see what's there for me. I'm no longer, number one, tied down. And I guess I'll say it that way. Like, all of my kids are through their primary education years. Everyone's an adult. Even though my youngest is home for the summer, everyone's an adult. Everyone, you know, can, for the most part, fend for themselves. So why couldn't I live there? Why can't I live wherever I want to? But how do I know where I want to live if I don't visit any of the places? And then a couple of weeks ago, we went to Norfolk, Virginia, and it was gorgeous. And I was like, okay, maybe, and we were right on the water. And I'm like, okay, so maybe this is part of maybe what's calling me. I don't know yet. But I'm willing to say yes to the call just to find out what comes next.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And it's an experiment, you know, it's like, because obviously there are multiple timelines, there are multiple outcomes, multiple ways that things can go. And it's like, which path do I want to be on? And when we learn, at least, you know, I can only speak as a generator because that's the authority that I know, but it's like, when I follow that yes and that feel good, then I'm always on this path that is enriching my life, you know, instead of like creating struggle and tension and confusion.
Oh, absolutely. So Patricia just hopped in and she's like, oh, what's happening here? Just a conversation with Jamy, just really talking about being in alignment with your strategy and authority, and then all of the delicious things that come with that. And I appreciate that, number one, we're both sacral. And so
Yeah.
that the focus is really there. 70% of the population is sacral. So we're really speaking to the experience of most people. The other part that I think is important to mention in this, especially for those of us that are sacral beings, they talk about a deconditioning process. And so I have lots of thoughts and lots of like, there's all kinds of angles, but here's what I'll tell you that Ra taught, that generators do not have to wait 7 years. That the deconditioning for a generator can happen in a much shorter time frame if they allow their sacral to have guidance, that it is the easiest thing to get into if you're willing to allow it.
Mhm.
And so again, going back to the beginning of the conversation, me being in a place where I know, I make no mistake about it, that I'm currently standing in my own way in some ways.
Yeah.
Right? And making a conscious choice. And I like, today was a day, and I'm emotional, so I don't have the privilege of listening to my sacral when it speaks all the time. So today, when I decided I was just gonna fucking quit, I was like, girl, just wait a minute. Just wait a minute.
Oh
Just
man,
wait a minute.
I could just imagine.
And so, no, literally, but that's the difference, right? I need to let my emotional wave continue and finish,
Yeah.
and I still may be quitting,
Yeah.
because the thought in my mind was, when I come in here Friday, I'm gonna tell these motherfuckers I'm not coming back.
Right.
Friday is gonna be sister's last day.
Oh,
No
man.
more rats, no more extinguishers, no more cleaning solution all over the stuff, no more kids with some attitudes.
I can't even imagine.
Like, y'all can figure this out. And now you want to know why I said I wasn't going to be a real teacher, why I wasn't going to get certified and then be in a contract with you people.
Yeah. Can only imagine.
And so the upside, though, is, and I mean this, the work that I've done around group dynamics, these kids have been part and parcel to helping me really develop and test those things out. They work with me. They know their design. It's been a phenomenal, almost 2-year process for me just to learn and develop that particular skill set with willing participants. So yay, right? And so I can't look at it and be like, oh, it's all terrible. No, it's just no longer aligned. And I'll go back and say, really appreciate you framing that. Like, I've outgrown it.
You have, yeah.
More than the kids are worse than they were before. You're right, they're probably about the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, but me being in a place where it's no longer correct for me.
Yeah. And they always get squirrely at the end of the year too, like it's coming on ending of a
girl.
I'm feeling it in this house. Like, we close on our new house in 2 weeks and I'm like, I don't want to do anything anymore. Like, can we just move into the other house? So I get it. It's like end of the year itis. And
yeah, but the other part, and going back to, like Maureen talking about her communications from students, they haven't been in school that long.
That's true. Yeah.
They haven't physically been in school that long.
It's true.
But it is what it is.
It's a mess. Like,
and I'm either going to get to Friday and be like, fuck this shit, or I'm going to make it until the 26th. Then I'm going to leave town. I'm going to get an infusion of positive vibes only.
Yep.
I'm gonna have some Mexican or some Texas tequila and drinks and food with Patricia and Marisol.
Nice.
And Cora, and I'm gonna feel real good. And then I'm gonna come back and make it those last 10 days.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna be done. Cause what I know is I won't go back. I won't go back for the next school year. Like, that's it.
No, it's not there for you anymore. There's like bigger.
Girl.
Oh, yeah,
girl,
I can feel it.
girl. So yeah, but again, making a conscious choice
Mm-hmm.
to act like I don't know what my look like. Sis said what she said. My sacral said what she said.
Yep.
We don't
Yep.
like it. And that's the other point I'd like to make, right? We walk around with this belief, like people think, and this is a human design point, oh, you're sacral, you just have this unlimited energy, this battery, this whatever, whatever. Only when your sacral wants to do what you're doing.
Right.
So when it's not aligned, again, tired, drained, irritable, can't sleep good at night, like all of that stuff.
Yeah.
It's really important for you to know, you're like, oh, I'm sacral and it's not working. Well, if you hate what you're doing, trust me,
Yeah.
you need an outlet for something that you love, or you're never going to have the energy you need.
Yeah. And I've been practicing the yes and no questions. It's like my sacral responds to things, but I've learned that it doesn't always mean that I actually need to take action on it. But I can have a yes to like, ooh, that thing's beautiful. That doesn't mean I need to buy it.
Right.
Like, and so practicing the yes and the no and getting even more specific on what my sacral is leading me to has been awesome. And yeah, learning what my and feel like in my body and just cultivating that more and more is
That's
quite helpful.
right. And which is why I can sit here and be like, and I know I'm wrong. I mean, I know I'm not in alignment.
My body is saying,
My body is like, bitch, what? What? We got to get up and go there again? Are you sure?
Oh, man. And then your will is like, yep, we can do it. We can do it.
You know, the will center will get us in trouble more than anything else. I promise you. I've just decided, because that level of commitment. No, and I just pulled up your chart, not to be funny, but because the difference is I have the 3420.
Mm-hmm.
Which I have to be very mindful of, because I be done said something or done something before it has even registered. Walking out the door with my keys before I've told them I quit. I mean, just so yeah, I mean, it just is that, that kind of weird, churny place for me.
Yeah.
So how is the intuition going for you?
Well, it's going good. I mean, that's, I think, been my biggest deconditioning is what is intuition? Like, what is intuition guiding me to? Because so in my gene keys, I think it's maybe like vocation here, but it's that whole logic piece. Intellectualism is the shadow, and recognizing that I tend to want to always logic my way and figure things out through the mind, and that I'm in the shadow when I'm doing that, and coming back into deeper trust in what's happening around me without my mind kicking in.
So what I like about this particular conversation, because I say things sometimes and I think people will think, oh, I don't like gene keys. I like gene keys, but you have to have a human design foundation for it to really be useful.
Yeah.
And your description of that process shows exactly how that should be working together.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you have a depth of understanding the nuance between alignment and not.
Right.
And then what do you do when you recognize it?
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
The other thing, let me throw this tidbit at you, because I know you study this stuff and you pay attention to some stuff.
I do.
And I think I've got an ephemeris through 2036. I think I'm going to share and have a class, a free class, because I got the ephemeris free. Because there's no point in me handing it out. It's a human design one. There's no point in handing it out when people can't read it and they don't know how to apply it. Yeah. So do you know that for the next year you have the channel 4816 defined?
No.
It's been defined from your spleen to your throat, power skills. We have gate 16 for an extended period of time, my friend.
Cool.
I know, because I have 48 as well.
Okay.
And when I saw your chart and I was like, oh, I want to make sure she knows this.
What's
So
4816?
huh?
What's 4816?
Power skills.
Power skills.
It is your sacral direct, or not your sacral, I'm sorry, your spleen connected directly to your throat.
Mm. Okay.
And that's why I asked how that's going, because my intuition has gotten, because it's consistent now, and it's going to be consistent for a year. I'm not splenically defined. Now I am with this channel to the throat. I'm really playing with that. So pay attention now that you've got that extra oomph and you've got that direct connect to your throat from your intuition for the next year.
Yeah.
Like, pay attention, see how delicious that feels for you.
Yep.
And so like,
I love doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. So with the ephemeris that I got, and it came through the 64 keys channels.
Oh, okay.
It gives all of the planets, for the next 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it's only helpful if you really know your chart. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like for you personally. So I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I got 4816 for the next year. Let me play with this. I normally don't have a defined spleen. Let me lean into getting better at recognizing my intuition so that when that is gone, it will be more familiar. Because at the end of the day, we all have all of the chart.
Right.
There's no, oh, I don't have that. Is it defined and something you consistently experience or not? Mm-hmm. And now I get this year to consistently experience this sacral intuitive thing going straight to my throat, doing all the good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like experientially, like somatically anchoring it into your.
And I love it.
That's awesome. The spleen I've been playing with is how quick and quiet that intuitive, like splenic voice is. And it's like, wait, what? And it's like, you heard me, I'm not saying it again.
Your spleen will be like, huh, you should have listened the first time I whispered it. No, the spleen will do that to you, not to be funny. It will really quickly tell you something and be gone. Yeah. And if you don't pay attention,
it's gone. Like, it's just like, what? Wait, what? And that's where that logic and that intellect really got in the way for me. Is like, wait, hold on, let me just think about this for a second, and then it's gone. It's like, okay, the mind is limited by itself. It's like literally limited by its own container. It's not going to give you more wisdom than your authority and then these channels that are activated. And, so it's like, being able to intentionally pull myself through shadow and back into the gift of that in order to be in alignment with my design.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So Krajan, it's power skills. It's really, it's the energy, the channel, what it really pushes for, and it's collective, right? Is not only for you to really develop a skill set around some things that you love. It doesn't necessarily have to be one thing, but it's about a person fundamentally being someone who is ready, willing, and able to do whatever it takes to like master skill sets, to really become expert in things, and then be able to apply those things when they need it. Gate 48 is the well, it's this depth of knowledge. It's, you're socking it away, but it's collective energy. So understand that all of these things that, as you're learning and doing and growing in that, it's going to express for the greater good. It's going to express in a bigger way, in a more collective impact way. It's not necessarily skills to serve you. It's more about what are you here to serve to humanity? And so, getting into like the difference between collective, individual, and tribal energies, I think is a really interesting place to play around, because we all have a combination of that.
Right.
We all have a combination of those energies. And it's just figuring out how they're going to show up for you, right? Because it's going to be a mix of things. But that's really, it's collective. It's the focus on, teaching, sharing, spreading what you know, using your tools for the good of humanity. Which doesn't mean you don't learn some stuff along the way that serves you, right? It doesn't exclude that.
That's how it works. Like when you're in alignment, those things that do serve the greater good are also serving your own field,
Yep.
because you are in alignment with where your place or your function in the whole. So it goes both ways.
It does. It does. So any other like alignment stuff that you would want to share? Like anything else, like, I don't know, just whatever would come to you.
I mean, for me, the biggest thing has been to understand that it is a stretch. Like I'm recognizing how easily it is to stay in struggle or stay in misalignment because it feels more familiar and therefore safer for our emotional bodies and for like somatically. And without even realizing it, how easy it was for me to be like, no, this is the perfect house. And it's come to us several times, but no, we'll just stay in this tiny misaligned place. That's the struggle for all of us. It was like, what the fuck? What are we doing? And recognizing how easy it is to pass on that alignment because it feels more comfortable. And that it's, so I guess for me, it's like acknowledging that it is a stretch. But that stretch always leads us to expansion, and expansion isn't always comfortable, but it is getting us to the place where we have access to more of what, more of our birthright, more of what it is that we're here to experience and here to do. So that's been my biggest awareness, is how easy it is to stay in misalignment because it feels more comfortable at an unconscious level.
What it makes me, yes, I will agree 100%, right? And going back to, I was not uncomfortable necessarily in the relationship I was in.
Right.
But it was not aligned, and I knew it wasn't aligned. And it took some work to get to the place where I could say, it's not aligned.
Yeah.
It's not you, it's me. I mean, there's no nice way to, sometimes to put that.
Yeah.
But the other thing that made me think of, because sometimes, giving people different scenarios, learning how to eat better.
Yeah.
It's really easy for me to plan, prepare, shop for, and cook what I've always done for my whole life. Right? It's easy for me to make all of the super delicious stuff that I have no business eating, because that's my default. Yeah. And learning to eat in a way that's better for me requires a rewiring, a relearning of how to do those things.
Exactly.
Because it's really easy for me to go and like, girl, I can whip up some delicious macaroni and cheese and like all of these things, right?
Yeah.
But it takes a bit to go, oh, wait, what can I put with this that makes sense, that's going to nourish my body and be good for me and doesn't have, we're from the Midwest. I put cream of soup in everything.
Right? It does. It takes intention and a focus. Like you really have to be, I mean, like for me, it's like what is in alignment has to be a question on a regular basis, because if it's not, I will default into the comfort of whatever is, comfortable, whatever is familiar. So
yeah, like easily, right? And it's Kim, I'm glad you understand, right, your weakness, right? But it's so easy to slip back into what has become like it's a pattern. It's super easy. It's just you just fall back into it.
Exactly.
It's the same with your strategy and authority.
Yeah.
There will come a tipping point.
Exactly.
Right? Where that's automatic. But until you reach that, or you're Alicia, who's, I don't know, 5, 6 years, almost 7 years in, who knows they're picking misalignment and justifying it and listening, again, go back to the whole will center and,
I know.
feeling like I have to honor this obligation, this commitment that I made.
Yeah.
But counting down, like, when the fuck it's over, because it's over.
Yep.
It's over.
Yeah. Now it's just whether or not you see it through to the original end date or not. I'm gonna be watching you, see what happens for the
Girl,
next couple of weeks.
girl. So have you seen, we talk about this here a lot. Have you seen the song? It's a meme, a girl, she's a musician, called The Earth is Ghetto.
Uh-uh.
I'm gonna have to share, like, the earth is ghetto, I want to leave. Like, this world is ghetto, I want to leave. I don't even want to be here anymore.
Oh man, you've got like end of the year-itis, just ready to move on to whatever comes next. And it's yummy.
It's gonna be, I promise.
I'm so excited.
I mean, everything is yummy right now though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I've got some stuff I'm working on that's going to be coming out. I've got, the training that I want to do for human design it's together. When is it going to be launched? Working on all of the sovereign stuff, because I think for me, that's what this is about. This is about you being sovereign. It's about you going, wait a minute, I get to pick what's right for me. I have an intuitive knowing for what's right for me. There is no authority outside of my own authority.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So for me, the sovereign piece and human design fit perfectly together, but that's not the only piece there is. But the fact of the matter is, until you can figure out your inner knowing, the rest of it will remain a struggle.
100%. And, it's like when you've got this freaking manual to understand what your inner knowing sounds like, use it,
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah. And I've got some fun things I'm doing and I'm excited about them, but it's been a weird process for me to get there because I am and this, you've worked with me. I'm such a believer in strategy and authority over everything.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't ever tell you anything else, if you get that right, it will completely change the game.
I agree.
And so I've really been resistant to just completely diving into some other stuff. And now I'm like, forget it. I'm going to dive in. We're going to share some things. We're going to do some things. It's going to be exciting. Especially what I have coming after. So after this master class, what we're going to dive into is going to be super delicious, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's just me finally coming to that place of recognizing, and I believe this. I believe as a community in general, human design has finally reached like this critical mass.
Yeah.
Right? Where there are enough of us on the front lines. And I feel really confident saying, especially when I look at the 6-2 community I've been able to interact with and encourage in whatever way I could, right? Because trust me, when we get into this 6-line energy that's coming, some of us are going to be feeling extra delicious. And for everyone else, it's going to feel very sticky for a short time, right? The background frequency that we have always lived under, the universal background frequency has been 1-line energy our entire lives. And so when you work through the energies, you start at 6 and you work your way down to 1. And in 2027, the background frequency becomes our frequency. And we're going to feel that shift in a different, as a matter of fact, we're already feeling the waning anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah. Well, see, Megan said she needed to be here for this one. And I'm glad because again, Jamie and I got on this conversation thing. And we're like, let's just do our conversation and share it. Let's talk about kind of the delicious things we have going on and let the people around us hear us share them.
Yeah.
Hear us talk about, again, being in alignment. And you guys have seen me. Those of you who are here know the kind of alignment I've been in. You know it when you see it. There is no mistaking it. And I'm in a struggle today right now because I'm picking some stuff that I know isn't in alignment but and again, Jamie's gonna watch and see if I actually make it to the end of the school year. I start taking bets.
Date and time.
But knowing with certainty
Yeah.
that whether I make it to the end of this school year or not, I'm not going back.
Yep.
That is 100% clear.
Yeah.
So then I was talking to and starting to do a lot more work with businesses, which is really fun for me. The team building part, the Penta and the WOW work, which has been super exciting.
Yeah.
So if you've got, look, I will come visit. If there are people for me to talk to, or if there are presentations for me to give, girl, I will come visit. I'm gonna come visit you anyway.
I know, right? You gotta come.
Girl, I'm coming back.
Okay.
Because you guys know Alicia will travel. So Alicia's been to Texas. She's going back to Texas. Patricia, who is on here, is in Florida, but originally from Texas. So she's coming to Texas at the same time. I'm gonna be in Texas, so we could all meet together in Texas. But I've been to Nebraska. I've been to Iowa. I've been ask. Sis will come see you. The only one I missed, and we're supposed to be going back to Virginia in June. I missed Talisa Parker. The last time we tried to arrange it, it didn't work. But now that we know way ahead of time, we'll get it all worked out so I can meet up with Talisa.
In Virginia?
Yeah, she's in Newport
I'll meet
News.
you guys in Virginia.
I'll let you know the dates.
Yeah. I'm a traveler too.
Girl. Because you've been out my way.
Yep, I've been, but you're never there when I'm there because you're somewhere else.
But I came to you, so there we go. There we go. So yeah. So I've enjoyed this conversation. Thank you for coming in, for sharing, because I think, there's just a lot of space for us to really serve our communities in sharing what alignment can be like.
Absolutely.
And I think, me, truth in lending, right? Sharing what misalignment, even when it's intentional, what that can feel like as well, because that's kind of where I am at this point.
Yeah. And it's all, it's all part of the equation. I mean, the more aware you are at any point in the process helps you to see the bigger picture. So
absolutely.
I mean, the first step is recognizing you're out of alignment. Sometimes that's hard to do because it just feels normal. So
yeah. And one of the things I'd said recently, and I don't mean this to be funny, which is why I had to start working with a nutritionist and really seriously take that part of my life. The more aligned I am, my body literally rejects what's not correct for it. I mean, literally.
That too. I've found that because, it's like I was eating really well and easily because things were in alignment after when my husband and I separated. It was in that moment I came into alignment and food was different, business was different, all of these things. And then birthday parties and all these different things, eating stuff that I'm not supposed to. And my body is
girl. So caveat emptor, your body will, when you get into alignment, your body will be like, no, sis, you can't have no more chocolate cake, no, or whatever those things are, right? Yeah. Your body literally will demand that you honor it and nourish it in a way that's really for your highest good.
Yeah, but it's helpful, to not feel good is helping to keep me motivated and aligned.
Yes. I mean, I'm down 15 pounds. Eating correctly, starting to work out, it's because my body was like, no.
Yeah.
Water was giving me heartburn.
What?
I kid you not.
Oh my goodness.
My body went into all out rebellion and I had no choice but to listen, to honor it, and to start to fix it. So I did a 21-day purification cleanse. So now I really know what foods I'm sensitive to. I've done a liver cleanse. I've done a detox. I've had to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my body is just no, not anymore.
No.
Kim wants us to come to Utah. There are many of them there. Kim, plan us something.
Yeah. I love Utah. I'll come to Utah.
I haven't been to Utah. I'll go there.
Let's go.
Let's
do a photo shoot while we're there too.
I just giggle about it. Okay, you guys laugh at me if you want to. What was that stupid movie with Will Smith when it was the Western?
Like,
And
wow.
he dressed as a woman, and it was anyway. But there was a lady in the movie who was German, and she always called it Utah. I'm sorry.
Yes, let's go to Utah.
Utah.
I like Utah. It's drivable for me. It's drivable for
Oh, see, Krajan wrote, yes,
Yep.
Utah. Yeah, like that has, oh, Megan is in Missouri.
Mm.
She said, come see the buffalo and the babies. So, because I've already claimed her children, they are my grandchildren now.
Yeah.
The other part is, and I'm gonna correct you, Megan, because I love you, and you know this. Buffalo are not indigenous to the United States. The bison is indigenous to the United States, Montana, whatever, one of them M states. And I know this because my daughter goes to college in North Dakota, where they have the Bison Museum and the largest bison statue in America and all of this other stuff. So I know all of the things about the bison now.
Do we just mistake bison for buffalo or what? Like, do we mislabel them?
I'm like, how did we get a song that says, give me a home where the buffalo roam when there were no buffalo here?
Right.
Buffalo are indigenous to Asia.
Yeah.
Bison
like the water
are
buffalo
indigenous to the, yeah.
But they're very close.
She said, yeah, buffalo, bison, Montana, Missouri. Okay. All the same. Oh,
I love it.
oh my goodness.
M states, you're hilarious.
But yeah, so here's what I learned though, driving through the Great Plains state.
Yeah.
They're great. And they're plain.
Oh my God.
Yeah, at the Buffalo, so she's saying they're huge and they have ranches with tons of them. Here's the funny part though. So when you go in Jamestown, North Dakota, where they have this and you're looking out, there's literally a sign there that says like, unless you can run 100 yards in like 9.2 seconds, we suggest you don't jump in here and try to outrun the buffalo. But they're also, I think they're more wild than not. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that you can tame a bison. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's all kind of stuff going on in the comments. If it's some plans being made, I can come to, okay, Montana, I get it, whatever. You in the middle of nowhere, girl. I know where you are. So I will figure out how to get to the middle of nowhere and come see the babies and the bison. She said, don't do that. They are fast and not nice. Okay, that's what the sign says. I respect the signs.
You're right. I'm not playing. Just look from
so yeah, so Montana, but if somebody wants to schedule something in Utah, does it have to really, I mean, it doesn't have to be businessy business. It could be a girl's getaway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Jamie's just saying.
Yeah.
Be like, girls, we got this place. It's got bedrooms. It's got a hot tub. Let's hang out. We can talk about business so we can all write it off on our taxes, but it really doesn't have to be a business event. I'm just putting that out there.
I'd go to Utah again.
Put that out there.
I'd go.
Because you know what I want to do one day. One day. Salt Lake Girls Getaway. There we go. I really want to have, and you guys don't laugh at me, I love Halloween. Love Halloween. I want to have like a bacchanalia. I want a masquerade, but everybody has to damn dress up and take it seriously.
I'm in.
Girl, I need to pick a spot that's centrally located so the most people can come, because I really want to do this.
You know me and my like dramatic get-ups. I mean,
girl,
I'm in.
We're gonna be dramatical together. We're gonna be dramatical together. Okay, so
we need to do a photo shoot together sometime.
Yes. Okay, so Krajan is saying part 2.
Yeah, Leisha and I did a retreat in Utah earlier this year.
Okay.
Was it this year or last year? I don't know. At some point
it had to be this year because I don't know. Did we go play? No, we got locked down in March of last year.
Yeah.
But I'm saying it could be a business thing. I don't think it has to be. Krajan said she'd buy a corset for this event. Girl, so would I. And I've been following some corset makers.
Yep.
I might look.
Got
I
a
might,
couple.
I might even wear my collar in public for y'all.
Well,
Just saying.
love it.
Oh my God. Okay, so we've talked about this. We need to do this. We need to figure out where October 2020. Is that when you were in Salt Lake?
Must have been.
Okay.
Because Gurjan was there, so I trust Gurjan.
Okay. So no, we need to figure out how to plan this masquerade, this debauchery.
Yes.
That's gonna be fabulous.
Yes.
You know what, Megan, we even gonna bring some babysitters.
There you go.
We'll figure it out. It's got to, somebody has some kids who want to make some money.
Yep. It's happening.
Girl, it's gonna be fabulous. I've wanted to do this for like ever. Like just, but again, everybody has to dress up.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Right. Yes.
It's the whole thing.
Yeah. Let's do it.
That's the best part. That's the best part.
Time.
Oh, we do.
Place.
So yeah, we do. Again, I just wanted to, and those of you who know, who have gotten on a call with me, and there are several people on here who it is never just business. I always have great conversations. I love talking with like-minded people, getting to know people, building relationships, right? What is it I put up? Yeah. Attraction is mechanical. Attraction is magnetic. Relationships take cultivation and work. Relationships are what you have to pour into and give time to. And so I'm just, sharing. And like last week I came on Wednesday. I was like, maybe Wednesdays will be a thing. Oh, next week on Wednesday, tune in. I have convinced my oldest born child, the astrologer, to come in. So you guys, so first of all, so you can meet her. Because if you think I'm something, let me tell you, I did a better job raising a more brash version of myself. But she's an astrologer. She's been one for years. I've been on her for years to kind of step into sharing that gift. And so I've posted her links. I'm gonna tell y'all this. If you're interested, she's a phenomenal reader. You better get her before I convince her to quadruple her prices. That's what I'm gonna tell you. Because I was like, that's all you're charging? Girl, wait, let's talk about this. And so, and like I told her, I said, you're in beta. You're good. You're figuring it out. You're sorting the bugs out, but your prices are going to have to go up. And she was like, Mom, look, I don't know who you thought your mom was.
Right.
But so yeah, so she'll be here next Wednesday about this same time. It's just gonna be another chat like this. So the Zoom link is posted. This has been cool because we've been able to watch comments, but if you would want to jump into the Zoom link, I would not be against that either. And so yeah, so that's next Wednesday. And I'm excited about that because you guys will get to see me, and something I made. Talk about some fun stuff. And she's in the group. She's just not super active in it. She's got her own platform. She's got her own stuff that she does. She is probably one of the most knowledgeable feminist activists I know. Seriously. Knows more shit than I do about it. And will tell me when I'm problematic. So, there's always that. So yeah. So that's it, Jamie. We're gonna get together. We're gonna figure out where this Halloween thing is, and we're gonna plan it.
Yep.
We got the girl.
I'm in. Like
it's gonna be good. You don't even know how excited I am right now. I'm excited. Like I'm gonna start Googling costumes.
Ooh.
Like, cause it's gonna have to be fabulous. And we should I don't know, how many days could we make the party last?
How many ovens do I need?
If the photo shoot is happening, we're gonna need at least a dozen outfits each.
That's true. It's true.
So venue, theme, photographer, we got it. Oh my gosh. So you guys, I really, Jamie, thank you for sharing, a little bit of us and how we get to talk Not as often as I'd like, but pretty regularly. We
Yeah.
keep circling back around, checking in, making sure we're okay.
Yeah.
So if you're not already friends with or following Jamy, please go follow her. She's doing some delicious things. Um, I know she is thick in evolving in her human design journey as well, and beginning to use that in the way that she works. And I love seeing it. I love seeing it. Yeah, because the people I can't reach, she can, right?
Yeah.
We're all, again, a rising tide lifts all the boats. I'm excited. And I'm over here watching, like, look at my girl go.
I know, right? You're like my HD mama.
So thank you so much. I love you guys. Jamy, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And we'll do this again one day. And look, everybody on here, I know your names. When we come back with this party, I don't want to hear any excuses.
We're committed.
We're committed. It's going down. Have a great night. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.